How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Forever Arsenal podcast. It's the international break now. It's Monday morning. We're recording this Sunday night, and it's literally a few hours after beating Manchester City at the Emirates. We've got Lee Judges yawning here, but if you ask me, I prefer these late night ones rather than the early morning ones, but we've got a bit of a divide.
Yeah, that's because you turn up on these ones.
We got 6 shows in a row, Lee. 6 shows, but it's not about me today. It's about Arsenal's win against Man City. James, Lee, Jordan, big up everyone for coming on at midnight. So basically, it wasn't me. It was...
Yeah, it was a train trip, Jordan. What was it?
It was all right. Yeah, I got back in time. Rushed back just for you lovely people. It's not ideal for me. It should be in bed, but yeah, it's all good. All good.
Did you catch the highlights?
I watched the game on the train. The way I see you, James. I see you. The comments can do that. I watched the game on the train on the way back. It took me 3 hours because of the buffering, but I got there.
So the full time we're celebrating, and you're there going mad about the Kovacic tackle.
No. I had to watch it back after. I completely missed it. I had to watch the game after on the way back on the train. So
did you know the score when you watched it?
I did. I wish I didn't. I kind of regret not just kind of holding it, but yeah, I did know the score.
That's one of those you can't not know. Like,
yeah,
I was constantly checking my phone.
I was hosting an event, and I was just like, I wasn't focused because it literally started the same time we kicked off, so I was just all over the place. But yeah, it was a nice surprise when I came off stage. It was good.
We did it. We got the 3 points. One of the final hurdles or mental obstacles that we've needed to turn around in recent times is this Manchester City fixture, whether it's home or away. Our record against them has been abysmal, especially in the Premier League, to say the least. Obviously, we've got an FA Cup win in there as well as a Community Shield win earlier on, a couple of months ago now. But this is the one that should lift that mental block. Maybe the players might have, maybe the manager might have, maybe we as fans or part of us might have. Usually I start with someone at the game. I was actually at the game. Lee was at the game, but it's rare that I don't hear James's opinion on the game or opinions during the game. So I want to start with James and get your thoughts on it.
Well, look, I'll be brief because I think we're going to cover so much. And when we win a game like this, it's only right we kind of bask in the glory. So headings, and I'll try to go through kind of match by match moment. I was disappointed in the 11. Had a real back and forth with Robbie on starting 11, like real back and forth. Lee was there. I still believe that the unnecessary use of Saka meant it was such a shame that we couldn't have him for today. But fair play, whatever Arteta did to get the team in the right frame of mind, tactically and everything. With the 11 he went out with. And to be honest, I don't know if there's much more he could have done with the 11, because while I am obviously not a physio, so I have a degree of opinion on Saka because the amount of football I've watched him play. I can't know whether Martinelli's fit and ready to start. I can't know whether Partey's ready to play more than the 15-20 minutes he played. I kind of think if you're fit enough to play at all in a game of this intensity, then you're probably ready to start. But I don't know anything about that, so whatever. Into the game. First 5 minutes, I think we're really lucky not to be 1-0 down. I thought that was actually City's best 5 minutes of the game. They really kind of stuck it on us. We looked a bit nervy. I think a lot of that tone was set by David Raya and some really kind of loose commanding of his area, poor passing and moments like that. But we settled. We really settled. And the most credit I can give to City throughout the game, I thought they had a great defensive structure, made it really difficult for us to play through them. Other than that, I don't really give them any credit outside the first 5 minutes. I thought they were poor, but I thought we made them look poor. I thought we equally were defensively superb. Yeah. Our structure was fantastic. It wasn't a sit back and park the bus. We pressed when we needed to. We dropped into a shape when we needed to. Arteta recognizing we needed Rice as a box-to-box was brilliant because he understood that you're going to want someone who can just cover the ground up and down the pitch. It allowed Jorginho to then just be like a second defensive line. So you're not relying on him to be the ball winner. There's someone there who does a lot of that. But Jorginho, I thought, despite being on a really silly yellow card, did really well. I think the PGM are an effing disgrace. I've used the F word a few too many times today, so we're going to try and be clean on this podcast. They are a disgrace. It's a straight red on Kovacic. It's a straight red for Kovacic for me on Martin Odegaard. And quite clearly, it's then undoubtedly a second yellow. So the fact he even was able to be subbed off and they finished the game with 11 men, for me was a joke, but whatever. I'm glad. Actually, you know what? Even though they're a disgrace and they're crap at their jobs, I'm glad we beat 11 men Man City, because you said it in your fan cam Turkish. I watched it. They didn't have De Bruyne and Rodri. Boo-hoo, cry me a river. Since winning the treble, we've actually spent more money than us this summer, and we had Saka, Martinelli, and Partey all not available from the start. So I don't really get. No one cared when we went to the Etihad without Saliba. No one cared when we didn't have Jesus in the game at the Emirates. It just is what it is. Second half, I thought we grew into the game brilliantly, and we were at the end. In the end, deserving of the win, because anyone who reduces the treble winners to 4 shots in 90 minutes keeps Erling Haaland down to a 0.00 XG across 90 minutes. A team that puts in as complete a performance as they did, but crucially worked as hard as they did. I thought the work rate from every player was absolutely phenomenal. I think they came out deserved winners. And to be honest, I don't know if you're going to beat Man City in many other ways than that, where you've got to sometimes compromise on all your attacking beliefs and you know, your desire to throw everyone forward, for White to overlap, for Zinchenko to invert and all that. You've got to compromise a little bit, but I thought we got the balance spot on.
Lee, what was your thoughts when the lineup came out? Because I know what I thought. I wasn't optimistic, even thinking that one of the 3 might play on Sunday, let alone none of the 3. And like I said, as much as Rodri and De Bruyne were missing, Saka, Partey, and Martinelli are equally important to us and what we nearly did last season.
Well, I'll be honest. I said it off air, and I'm going to swear. So be warned. I turned around and said, whatever the lineup is, whatever it's going to be, I don't care. I'm going to be positive. When I see the lineup, I turned around and said, we're fucked. That is what I felt like. That's what I said.
This is true, by the way.
I absolutely said that.
It's exactly what happened.
But I have to say, it was. I enjoyed the game of football. It was a chess match, tactical, whatever you want to look on it, and all that. And I'm going to say it now. I'm furious. that he wasn't sent off, because I'm fed up with him up there, right? Him up there trying to go, oh, well, I don't think that was, oh, yeah, it was for that person. It was for that person. It was for this. Oh, yes, it was definitely a red card last week on the Liverpool player. Definitely like a red card. When I see things like that, a definite red card, not given, no touch of the ball, I forget. Oh, all right, okay, it's not sending off. For him to do that 2 minutes later, right, and not get sent off is criminal. It's not. Are these refs crap, or are they corrupt? They're one or the other now. Because when I went to Wolves 2 years ago, I see Martinelli push a player over and try and stop a ball in one movement. Mr. fucking Oliver. Oh, can't wait to give out his 2 cards. Today, no. Funny that, isn't it? Funny.
Why'd you go for Jordan?
Yeah, you know that I'm not the referee.
He's always sticking up.
I was in Liverpool. You know that I'm not the ref, right, Lee? You know that I wasn't the person.
This is like when Turkish went for win.
But he does stick up from, like, you know, like last week we was going, oh, we don't think it's a sending off. Oh, all right, yeah, it's a sending off. Well, that's a sending off. If you're sending off the Liverpool player, you've got to send it off of him, like, you know, nowhere near the ball. I'll tell you what, and be realistic. I've seen the tackle. That could have been a serious injury there. We're lucky. Yeah. It's a serious injury. And then he does it again, and he still stays on the pitch. Scandalous. And I've seen it. So, and 4 or 5 weeks ago at Crystal Palace, we're seeing Tomiyasu get sent off for nothing, right? And I got a Pratt, Danny Murphy saying on Match of the Day today, oh, I'm glad, I want to see all this. He's a bit like Jordan. They're all those TV pundits. They're all the same. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm glad he didn't get taken. I'm glad he didn't send him off. Yellow card. Like, you know what I mean? And he even takes them to bed with him. What a joke that is. You know what I mean? Like,
for audio listeners,
we've
Jordan
got women and he's got yellow and red cards. But anyway, so that really did wind me up, like, and I've seen it again, and it's, you know, and that then, if we lose, if we don't get that goal today, right, that's 2 points dropped. 2 points because we would have beaten them with 10 men, like, you know what I mean? But listen, from that moment, I've got to say, second half, Mikel Arteta, take a bow. Take a bow. I criticised him in the week, and rightly so. And you know, people going, "Well, you criticise." I will criticise when they don't do it well, but when he does it fantastically well and gets it right, spot on, well done, Mikel. He was fantastic. The one thing that he didn't do, one thing he didn't get spot on today, and only one thing only. He should have played Ramsdale in goal, but that's another story. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
I
think that he actually was all over the place in that first half. You know what I mean? Thanks to Rice and a bit of luck with a goal. But listen, you know,
he got better second half. I thought Ray.
Yes, he did have a better second half.
He cleaned up his act, but first half he was a sham.
But you know what I mean? Like, you know, and. You know, if he's a man of his word, maybe he should have taken him off as a substitution. But anyway, listen, forgive him for it because he got everything else right. I felt that the Martinelli one was fantastic, bringing him on. It changed the complex of the game, if I'll be really honest. Then they make their substitution, and none of them contribute. Like a bit like us in Lons, really, if I'll be honest, when none of ours did. All of ours contributed, you know, all four of them involved in the goal. What was Tomiyasu doing, by the way? What was he doing? He was up there like a centre forward. It was bloody fantastic. You know, nice little header down. Kai Havertz done very well. Does he get an assist for that, Kai Havertz, by the way?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he does. Like, you know, done very, very well. Lucky finish. Who cares? Fantastic, great result, and I think it's been coming. You know what I mean? I think the Community Shield helped that result there, and this one on today was fantastic. But again, I've got a little bit of a bitter taste of it because of that Oliver. And if anybody tells me he's the best referee, which they do, no wonder we are a joke when it comes to refereeing. Like, you know, an absolute joke. But
Jordan's pulled a lot of faces. I'm really interested to hear his take.
Well, I think he's been on the lash. He's been obviously in first class, and then they get free wine in there because he wouldn't buy it. So, like, you know what I mean? He's got free wine somewhere along the line.
No lies told there. I was in first class. There was free wine, but I wasn't drinking it because I don't drink. But the rest was true. Can I go?
Yeah. Did you have a sandwich?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did actually, and there were prawns in it as well. Just for your information.
Very nice.
You can go, but don't do this whole. I'm going to start with the negatives thing. Start with the positives.
You're assuming that I have negatives, Turkish.
Yeah, but you always do. And this is coming from someone who tends to always have the same. But yeah.
That's unfair. That's unfair. The first thing I want to say is well done, Arsenal. Well done, Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. That performance and the win, and I want to separate the two because I think it's important to separate the two. That performance was the performance of a team that have learned lessons. And if there's one thing I wanted at the start of the season for this team to do, it was to learn lessons. Have you learned the lessons from the pain of last year? That was a mature, high quality, tactically astute, well executed performance. I want to say well done, Arsenal, because hands up, I didn't see it. I didn't see it, even without Rodri and De Bruyne. Huh?
I thought you said you watched it.
Oh, shut up! You know what I mean. So I want to just—I'm a humble guy. When I get it wrong, you're such an idiot. Such an idiot.
You went hands up. I didn't watch it. Did you think now, or is it me being silly?
Nah, when he first said it, I thought, wait, what do you mean? Then I realized what he meant. That
right.
I knew he meant.
You didn't see it coming.
There you go. So first thing I want to say is well done.
I didn't
Arsenal.
see it. I
didn't see it. Someone's going out to upload the highlights.
Someone's clipping that now, aren't they? Someone's clipping that. Yeah. So first thing I want to say is well done. They deserve maximum credit for that as well. I want to big up Mikel Arteta, and I want to single him out because I said in the last podcast I don't care about Saka. I don't care about Saliba. I don't care about Jesus. I care about Mikel Arteta stepping up. And I genuinely believe, guys, this is a fixture. This is a win and a performance that has elevated him slightly. He has now done something that I've not seen him do before. He has beaten a champion fairly. This wasn't a fluky 1-0 win. It wasn't a scrappy 1-0 win. It was a win that was constructed from minute 1 to minute 90. You can see throughout the match what we did was practice and was intended. That is coaching. That is coaching. So I want to big up Mikel Arteta first of all, because I wanted something different, and I did. We were competitive, we worked hard, we were sensible, and we took our chance when it came along. Couple of things, and I'll defer again. Kovacic should have been sent off twice. I agree with James. The first one's a red. It's a red. It's just a red. The second one, again, as James says, best case, it's a yellow, which means he's gone. So he should have been sent off twice. But the reason why I'm not going to lose my nut over this is because the referees are that bad right now. We'll get one in our favour in a couple of weeks' time.
We did in this game. We did in this game when Rico Lewis was running in on goal and Michael Oliver blew the whistle. And they played literally half a second on the advantage, and he was in on goal.
That's
right.
We stopped, James. The players had stopped.
They had stopped. They had stopped.
I think
they knew.
I think they'd have done really well to get to Lewis there, and I thought that was also poor refereeing. It's not the same. Don't get me wrong. It's not a scandalous decision, but it's another poor one.
My point is, I'm not going to lose my head over that Kovacic decision, because one will go in a shocker will go in our favour at some point in the season. So it's not about today. It's about the refereeing standards are just poor. So I'm not going to go into all the refereeing things. I find it boring. We'll all get breaks. We'll all have shockers go against us and for us. They're just crap. So I'm going to move on from that. The only two players, I don't want to single players out, but the only two players that I didn't think were excellent were Raya and Nketiah. I thought they were both okay. I thought they were both okay today. Everyone else was a 7 upwards. I thought they were the only two that I thought were 6s, but just fine. I'll leave you guys to. I want to hear your thoughts on the Salibas and the Rices and all those guys who were great. The only player I'm going to single out today, guys, is Martinelli, because I've been very, very hard on Martinelli. I'm not in the camp with you lot that quite rate him as highly as you guys do, but I'm going to give him so much praise, because to come back and to be at it straight away and get the winner. He got some big goals for us last year as well, by the way. I'm just so happy for him. And I want to really give him credit, because he wasn't amazing today, but he was tenacious, he worked hard, and he was a threat. And he got the goal just through that. Look, let's have it right. It's going well wide. It's going wide. But no, I don't.
It might be saved, but I don't think it's going wide.
No, it's not going wide.
Oh, I thought it was going wide from what I saw.
I don't think it's going wide.
But regardless.
Saved, yeah.
But regardless, he's got the goal. So I want to single him up, because when I don't see it from him, I'm hard on him. And I think today he got the winner in a big game. I'll praise him. Last couple of quick things. I actually think for Manchester City, the De Bruyne not being there was a bigger miss than Rodri. I think that what they were missing was a bit of guile and a bit of cutting edge. I think defensively, both teams were actually really, really good. That was a high quality game. And a lot of fans will say, oh, it was boring and it was stale and whatever. That's how champion wanting to be teams, that's how they play. It shouldn't be a 3-1 or a 4-2. Let me tell you now, a 1-0 is better than a 4-2. That for football heads, they won't get that. But a 1-0 win today is better than a 4-2, because it's that word that I keep banging on about, control. We were never out of control in that game. We were always in the game, and we were always a threat. A 1-0 win, I love 1-0 wins. And to get a clean sheet at home against the triple winners, the club deserves so much credit for that particular result. I think, actually, as I said, all the talk about Rodri not missing, I think De Bruyne was the bigger miss for them. And the last thing I'll say is this. Everybody was crying, including you lot, about Saka not being there. Saka's injured. Why do you make us love Saka? Wow. Pissed me off, all of you guys. The whole fan base pissed me off. And my point was, I didn't care about playing Saka and him being injured, because the Lens game at the time was important. Look what we just did. And that shows me this is not about... No, but hang on. My point, Turkish, was win, lose or draw, we need to learn to not rely on any one player, even if it's our best player. As a team, that is what I want to see, Turkish. I want to see Arsenal...
I do think me in particular, I can't speak for James, I can't speak for Leo, anyone else. Me in particular, the Saka thing was more than it might have been had Martinelli been fit for the last couple of weeks, or Partey been fit for the last couple of weeks. Saka takes on more importance in this big game when a couple of your other star players are not available or haven't played any minutes leading up to it. So I think that, because listen, when that lineup came out, I mean, Lee said we're fucked. I thought the same. when the lineup came out, I looked at it and thought, wow, no Partey, and it's not
I
like
didn't see it.
It's not like he's putting Havertz in. He's
Hmm.
putting Jorginho in. Then he's adding Eddie Nketiah up top. Jesus is on the wing again.
I'll be honest. I didn't see the lineup before it came out, so I can't say how I would have reacted had I seen it. But my point is, if we're going to win the Premier League title, we need to go back to what we were saying 4 weeks ago about how this squad is it's stronger than we think it is. And take out Saka. I don't care. Get it done. Get it done. And in a weekend,
that logic is I agree with. I just use it on the Lons game. We don't need to rely on Saka. We've got a great squad. We can use it. And so I agree with you. I just apply it to that one.
No. But what I'm saying is the Lons game, treat the Lons game in isolation. It's a game we need to win. So play your best team. And unless we know for fact that Saka was not fit for that game, in which case playing him is that's just poor management. Unless we know for fact that he was not poor, I'm playing Saka in that game. And if he gets injured, as he did, so be it. The fact we got City on the weekend, for me, is not important. Now, if this was with 4 games to go and we're 4 points off the top of the league, it's a bit different then. I may have to then manage my last 4 games. Totally. It's blood. We're 8 games in. And there's an issue that I didn't mention on the last podcast about protecting Saka. 87 games is not anything to be overly proud of.
No, I agree with that. But I don't look at, like, we got fortunate today, like, you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, we put our best player in the centre. We've had to play wider. And by the way, it was a pleasure to see today and watch. Eddie done absolutely. The only thing Eddie done in that game was a tackle on the side. And when everybody did. Yeah, in the first half. Other than that, he done nothing. What I'm saying is, if we'd have gone into that game, if we'd have lost that game today, it would have backfired a little bit. And why I'm saying that is because realistically, we should have gone into that game with Jesus down the middle and Saka on the right. You know what I mean? And that would have caused them all sorts of problems. We never really listen. Eddie worked very, very hard today, but I'm fed up with it now. Like when people keep saying to me, and I'm one of them, and I try and stick up for Eddie. Oh, he works hard. Well, so would I work hard for Arsenal. I'd run my nuts off for him. You know what I mean? But I ain't good enough. His contribution today, Jordan, wasn't good enough.
And I agree. And I've singled him out. I agree.
And at the end of it, like, you know, today he could have rested Saka on Tuesday and made him go there. Listen, I think that one of the good things about it today, and you're dead right, is the biggest plus other than the win today was that we won it without Saka. So that means that we can do it without him. You know what I mean? But I don't think we would have been able to do that without Saka and Martinelli. Martinelli had to come onto that game and do what he done. If Martinelli wasn't fit, I don't think we win that game.
Maybe not. And look, would I rather have Saka in that starting 11 or not? I'd rather have him in the starting 11. My point is, I just think as a fan base, we have to understand to win this title, it's a squad game. It's a squad game. And I think we're maybe slightly underestimating, even without Saka, even without Saliba. I mean, Saliba will be different because Timber's now injured. But even without any isolated key player, we can we can get this done. I don't want to hear excuses. I'm not here for excuses. Get it done. Get it done.
I've got my hand up like a student in class.
We want to go wee?
No. Unless you're about to talk for the next couple of minutes. I want to. Turkish is very politely playing host to our opinions, but I want to ask you in Turkish. We had a really good discussion. I even clipped up and put on my channel about how to beat City, the styles of football we've seen beat City, and we both. This isn't anything on you. We both sat there and said, "You don't control wins against City. They're too good. You always have something to do over 90 minutes." Did you feel today, in as much as it could have been, we did control City?
Yeah, but it wasn't the control that I was thinking about when I said you don't out-control City. The control was more containment. And I'm not saying that's not control, because containment is control. But it was never looking under threat, apart from that chance or the double chance they had from the corner after 4 minutes. I don't remember anything from Manchester City. So in terms of control, yeah, lad, even if I did think of that part of the game, I'd think, listen, to contain City, that's crazy with this young side too. But we did it, you know, we did it. Offensively, I think we had spurts of control. I think the first 10 minutes of the second half, I think there was 10 minutes in the first half. I think the last the last 10 minutes of the second half. I think we had control there in a sense where we looked the more likely to create a chance or an opening or find some space for a shot. But to nullify Manchester City completely, with the amount of players we had missing, I mean, I agree with Jordan. It's a massive feat, and it's one that now surely, when the players look at it and think we was a weakened side here, Manchester City had a stronger side out. Realistically, like James said, they've spent more money than us on top of a treble-winning season. So as much as a lot of people are going and saying Arsenal must now, the fact of the matter is Man City must every season. They got the best manager. They spend a hell of a lot of money, and they got some world-class experienced players in their side. But Arsenal finally come. I want to circle back to Martinelli, because I disagree with one point Jordan said. He said, we always looked a threat. We did not look a threat in that first half at all. So in terms of containment and control, we had that.
Okay.
Aside from the corner, I think, Arsenal kept Man City at bay. Man City were actually struggling to even get into the final third. That's why I think they did miss Rodri as well as De Bruyne, because they missed that Rodri pass into De Bruyne or into Bernardo Silva. So we contained them so good, but we offered nothing in attack. But Martinelli comes on, early substitution from Arteta, and this is where I agree with Lee. He deserves credit, because sometimes I look and think, hold on, why are you waiting so long? He comes in, hits the ground running. Walker has another threat to deal with, because Walker was pretty, as much as I think Trossard wasn't bad in the first half, I think in terms of the attack, Trossard probably held on to the ball the best. He was beating a man or two, more so than Jesus or Eddie and so on. But he was sacrificed. Martinelli comes on, and Walker's a bit more on the back foot. He has to look over his shoulder a bit more. That dwindled after about 10 minutes, but then it came back, and Martinelli again at the end of it. And I want to circle back to Martinelli, because I think sometimes we forget how important this kid was for us last season. And I hope this goal now kind of, puts this injury behind him. After international break, he comes back to Martinelli we've seen last season, because I do think he's had, prior to the injury, he had shackles on. This game, there was no shackles. He came on, he looked for the space, he wanted the ball, one touch out of his feet, and he's running at the defense. So Martinelli, for me, would have been man of the match if it wasn't for Saliba. And not only Saliba defensively, Gabriel and Ben White, in my opinion, had immaculate games, but Saliba was something else. Saliba, listen, as much as Haaland's been in bad form, there's a way of defending that Saliba brings that is class beyond his age. This kid is going to be a top defender for many years to come. There is no two ways about it. He is going to be a top defender. The way he dealt with the physicality of Haaland, he bullied him.
I thought he humiliated Haaland. Actually, I watched a little montage highlight reel of it, and I thought Haaland actually looked such a baby next to him. And I know this is big brute Erling Haaland, he's an unbelievable world-class goal scorer, also actually a very likable guy off the pitch, but just thought in this game, the way Saliba handled him, you're so right. That little shove off the ball. How many times, remember we were talking about Koscielny the other day, and you talked about the way, he had his head sort of slapped when the goal was scored in the final. That reminded me of and then Haaland sort of shoved to the floor, because Saliba's too strong for him. And then he's kind of petulant and moaning. And then coming off the pitch, they were all kind of getting a scrap with our set piece coach. And you're just like, I'm so glad that we've been so little brothered by Man City, which annoys me, because I still believe we're the bigger club. And I felt today the younger team with less experience little brothered them in a way. And I love that from the way we handled them on the pitch.
And I think it's, because I want to ask you, off the back of your question to me, James, I want to ask everyone else, if we would have prior to the game, obviously we're talking hindsight now, we know the result, we know the way we did it, but would we have preferred beating City this way, or gone in the way Spurs and United have picked up wins against City over the years? I'm with James. You already pointed at this one, because I think this wasn't a perfect performance in terms of where I think Arteta wants to take Arsenal. But I think it's the base to work off. Sometimes counter-attacking wins like Man United against us at Old Trafford last season, or against City, Tottenham the same. They work for the 90 minutes, but sustainability long term, it's not.
I think it is I think this is the perfect way Arteta wants to beat City. This isn't the perfect way he wants to beat everybody else.
100%.
But this is the perfect way I think he wants to beat City. This is why I said I need to see something different from him in this time. Because what he's done before is he's played City like he's played Liverpool, like he's played Chelsea, like he's played everybody else. And City are a different beast, but he found a different way. So I think this is the perfect way to beat them. And the reason why, you know my answer already, because I've not seen this before. This performance is the way I want to beat City because I've not seen this before. I've seen us put it on City and get beat 2-1 in the dying minutes a couple of years ago at the Emirates. We were brilliant that day. That day we were so good, but we didn't play City the right way. You can't just play City. You can't out-football City. You can't have that fight. They'll win. I know they had some of their key players out, but they'll still give you a game. This is how you beat City. You contain them, you demoralize them, and you take your chance. So I don't know what Lee thinks, but this is the way that I want to beat City. I don't want to beat Burnley this way. You don't have to. There's different ways. But beating City, this is the right way to beat them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like they found a formation to beat them today and a way of beating them. They probably won't do that against Chelsea or anybody else at home in the league, but they've done it against City. What I like today,
sorry, Lee, on that, I know it's a positive show, and I'm not trying to swing this in a negative way, but I hope you're right there, because it was perfect today against City, because it's City and you don't normally out control or out football City. This was the way to win it. But I think we've gone into most games like this pretty much in terms of wanting to really control the game and contain the opposition. I think the Everton away win was a very similar approach. Now, this falls into what you're saying, Jordan, but I hope that we can also revert to a bit more of that fluidity I talked about that was lacking against a Bournemouth or a Fulham, because we need to be able to do both, in my opinion.
We lacked a little bit of fluidity because, if I'll be really honest, they're up against some really tough. I've had a few beers. They're a tough team to break down. They've got some bloody good players still.
I'm not talking about City. I mean just moving forward into Chelsea.
No, I think that they will. I think that once Jesus goes back into the middle, I think that will be a massive thing. I'm watching him today. You know what I mean? 4 or 5 times today, like under pressure, he brought it down, chested on his. You know, Eddie can't do that. He can't do it, and that is one thing that he can't do. And then I have to say, today I felt that defensively, I think James alluded to it. I think we bullied them. Every time Foden, I mean, everybody's going mad about Foden the last few weeks, how good he is and this and that. He come up against a Ben White or a Saliba or wherever he went, and it was just like banging into a brick wall. And then you have a look at
Doku on Zinchenko. He came on, immediately was like, right, run at Zinchenko. Zinchenko wins the first 2 battles. All right, go to Whiteside. It was, I mean, it was brilliant. You were just like, this is hilarious.
It was really good to watch. And I'm going to say, I know I keep going on about Ben White, but again, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. You know what I mean? Again, superb defending today. Really, really good, And I have to say, got to give credit to Arteta today, because you're right what you're saying. Jorginho come in today. I have to say that was a masterclass. And I didn't want to see that today, but he actually come in there, performed really, really well for 70 minutes. And me and Turk was talking about this after the game. And then he brought on Partey for the last 20 minutes, and we went up a level. We actually went up a level, and they couldn't handle it. I have to say,
reminded everyone what he can do.
Thomas, can I just say something about Thomas Partey? I know that he's not always fit, and we say maybe we've got to get rid of him and all that, but he makes football look easy. Yeah. And we all know, we've all played the game, it's not easy, but he makes it look easy at the top level. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, I'd run all over you, Jordan. Don't worry about that. Run all over you.
You've seen me play football at top essential, so you know how good I am.
I'm running all over you. But he makes it look so easy with the way he plays and all that. A bit like when me and James played in that charity game when we just made it look easy, James. You know what I mean?
I've got the compilation highlights. By the way, why when I turn my camera off does it have Turkish's logo?
I don't get it.
Well, that's because it's probably because you want to point back later on in the year or something
No, this is free marketing.
Can I just add to Lee's praising of Mikel Arteta, because I think we need to spend a little bit more time on that, because this game was executed by the team, but it was masterminded by Mikel Arteta. Look at the goal we scored. That's not just a fluke. We chipped it forward and we hope for the best. All 4 subs were involved in that goal. Yeah. That is not a fluke. That is intended. He knew what he was doing. The physicality and height of Tomiyasu and I'll say height of Kai Havertz is involved in that goal. All right, the goal is a deflected goal that goes in. Cool, you take your breaks. But that's not a lucky goal. That's coaching. That's planning. That's tactical planning inside the game itself. He was poor in a couple of... I forgot what game it was. We played where Arteta had a bit of a mare. His subs were poor. His selection was poor. It might be. No, it wasn't Lons. It was a game before Lons where... Anyway.
Spurs.
And maybe it was Spurs. But this was a game where I thought... This was a game where I thought he deserves a lot of credit. And I think 100%. The other thing... Turkish mentions how we play against different types of teams. It's a point worth mentioning because we do have to know how to play against different types of teams, and that's why I praise him so much for today. But in my opinion now, we move on. There's no point doing all of this today and then we get slapped by Chelsea next week. You win titles by winning against all the small teams. So start against Chelsea in 2 weeks' time. Those are the games that win titles. The 3 points against those small mid-table teams. That is how you win titles. And the final point I'm going to make as well is that Chelsea won this weekend. United fluked it in the 97th minute this weekend. Spurs, impressively, with 10 men, won this weekend as well. And Liverpool got a good point at Brighton. So it was really important for us to also win, but to do it against the treble winners, I think sends a message not only to ourselves that we are getting better, but to the rest of the league, we are on this thing. If you're Liverpool, if you're United, if you're Chelsea, and you see that, you're thinking, oh, rah, Arsenal just beat City and beat them and deserve to win the game. They're now a little bit frightened. So I think there's so many layers to this win that are important that go way beyond just getting 3 points.
I wanted to say, on your question, Turkish, about whether this win is better than the counter-attack win and all that, blah, blah, blah. This wasn't that dissimilar to the way we played against them in the Community Shield. A lot of people didn't want to put that much stock in that performance because, people downplay the Community Shield. I understand that, but it is also 1 week before the start of the Premier League, so it can't be completely discounted. And both teams had their moments. City had moments in that game, 10, 15 minutes. We weathered it. Then we grew into the game. Were there loads of chances? No, but did we create kind of enough to nick a goal here and there? Yes. Did we shut down Man City? Yes. Did Haaland have any joy in that game? Absolutely not. Quite comparable. Now, that is a performance that sets a foundation and you build on it, and we have built on it, and we won today. When you're watching this, will be the day before. We won at the Emirates in the league where we feel it matters most. Now, Arteta, which we have to remind ourselves sometimes because obviously, we always focus on the league, but he beat Pep Guardiola very early on in his Arsenal career at Wembley in the FA Cup, no fans in the ground, semi-final, and that was a back three job. That was a counter-attack job, albeit we actually played through them really well for the first goal, but the second goal was complete counter-attack, ball over the top for Aubameyang's pace. Now, that kind of 3-4-3 formation with Aubameyang wide left and trying to go quite direct or whatever, where did it get us? Well, in a relegation battle by Christmas. So, yes, we won that game in that semi-final, and in the short term, in a cup competition, he found a way to win that game. We won the cup and we're over the moon. But it was never long-term the way he wanted to play. And as he slowly got his players and implemented it more, you get something that's more sustainable. And we played a really good game against Man City, against them in January 2022. And that was the day on my fan cam, having the month earlier said I was ready for Arteta to move on. I said, Arteta's got me now because give him a little bit more of what he needs. And that is absolutely the way I want my teams to play football, but also the way I believe we can win major titles doing it. So to go out against Man City and go punch for punch. And there weren't that many punches landed, but we weren't scared. We didn't go into our shell and we took it to them. And that will always feel better because no one sat here going, we found a way today. That wasn't finding a way. That was just being the better football team and winning. And now we're above him in the table. Who would have thought that 8 days ago.
After Tottenham draw, I would have never thought that come international break would be ahead of them in the table, and something, comparing last season's fixture results to this season, that's something I've been doing this season, because I know we need to flip around a couple of the draws and losses last season, 2 wins, especially after dropping 2 against Fulham, dropping 2 against Tottenham. Essentially, we're -4 in comparison to the same fixtures last season or same results. What this one does is +3. It brings us to -1, whereas back to back with Man City, they beat Wolves last season away from home. They beat Arsenal away from home last season. Right now, in comparison to last season, they're on -6. I don't know why I've got this in my head, but every fixture that comes, I just think to myself, especially now, if
Everton
we do,
too, by the way.
Everton's
Everton's a +3. We lost 1-0 away last year.
Everton's a +3, so we're on a +2 even, not even a -1. So really and truly, moving on to the rest of the season, the next 30 games, if we do exactly what we did last season against those teams, we win the league pretty much. Pretty much.
I get what you're saying. If the rest of the results go exactly the way last season did, yeah.
I think the dynamic of the league looks interesting now as well. City have lost 2 games now.
That's massive.
That's really big. That's really big. Now City will no doubt at some point go on a run, I'm sure. But I just think it's not only, as I said just a minute ago, do teams now look at us and think, okay, Arsenal are serious. They're now looking at City and thinking, oi, can we get a point against them? Can we beat them? So listen, it's City. Let's not get carried away. And this is not the end of Manchester City. But I just think it's really important we won that game, not only for ourselves, but for hopefully everybody else looking at City thinking they can win them. My final point would be also as well, we've passed so many tests in these last couple of years, guys. We slapped Chelsea up home and away. That's standard now. We're now standardly beating United at home. Cool. We beat Liverpool last season. Who was the team that we always lose to that we beat last season?
Tottenham
Mid-table team. Tottenham away, but there's a small team we always drop points to.
Brighton used to lose quite a bit, but we beat them away. We beat them
it was Brighton, but
away.
My point is there were certain tests that we passed last year. The one big one was we just couldn't beat City over 3 games. We've now beaten them. Now go and beat them in the Etihad. I know it's a while away. The next test.
Let me enjoy this one.
I'm just saying if we're gonna evolve and we're gonna keep ticking off these tests, go and win at the Etihad now. That's the final test. You've shown you can beat them. Now go and beat them on their patch with De Bruyne.
Should I be honest with
Rodri.
you? Can I be honest with you? It's not go win at the Etihad now. It's go win the league now. That's what it is for me, because I don't think we need to win at the Etihad in order to win the league.
Agree.
We've won the
True.
whole.
What we don't know
is what we do against the rest. Where against the rest we're going to be favourites in for the next 29 games.
But the symbolism is, if we're going to win this league, I want to get 4 points off their minimum. I want to know that we are the best team.
I want to go there and get something.
I want to win there.
I think they're not the one after their next games. Man United away.
Yeah.
So that they've got some tough games coming up now. We've just got to keep going. I'm with Jordan. I know what he's saying. I actually said today, it's no, let's dust ourselves down, enjoy tonight, and then focus on Chelsea, because that's a massive game for us now. Chelsea is the next one,
Yeah.
So
and put them back in their box. They're getting a little bit too loud now.
Well, it's going to
put them back in their box.
It's going to be
they're just starting to hit a bit of form.
Their underlying numbers and their performances were never as bad as their league position said 2 weeks ago. So I'm not surprised they've slapped up Burnley, won at Fulham, beat Brighton in the cup. But I still believe we're well equipped to beat them. I feel like we haven't given enough credit to 2 players. You're right to mention Saliba. You're right to mention Gabriel. White. Lots of players getting credit. The substitutions, Arteta. I think Declan Rice was a monster in midfield today, an absolute monster. And then he's 1% off my man of the match, which was Jesus. I thought he played like someone.
What a pleasure to watch him play today. I just sat there watching him today, and I said, I don't mind just paying to watch this player play. I thought he was sensational today. I really do. Just an absolute pleasure to watch. But Declan Rice, he's got it all, hasn't he? He has got it all.
He has got it all.
He's got it all.
Did you see that little kind of won the ball and then he kind of rolled it into Martinelli, got the shot on goal on his left foot, and even though he didn't, it wasn't a great chance. It was a really nice threaded pass. And I enjoyed seeing him kind of press up the pitch. His recovery runs to support Jorginho were phenomenal. He's just like, he's a proper captain.
Well, I just think now them
leader
two
in
get
midfield.
party fit in this international break, get him some hard work, get hopefully Declan Rice don't play too much for England. Definitely, hopefully he's going to get a rest against Australia in that friendly. But them two now as the two pivots in midfield with Odegaard, that is some midfield now, like, you know, and the way the way Declan Rice is playing, you know, the ground he covers, you know, he was absolutely unbelievable work rate on Tuesday night, and he's gone and done it again. You know, he's a machine, absolutely fantastic. Like, and I thought we was close to man of the match. Like, you know, do you know what we're saying? That, you know, I think if you said, James, Gabriel's man of the match, someone else says Saliba, someone else says Ben White, someone else says right. I don't think none of us are wrong. I really don't. I think, you know, you could throw a blanket over them, and any of them were man of the match. I really do. I think
Raya was in with a shout.
Who?
Raya.
Raya who? Raya
Mariah Carey. Yeah.
That was a slightly forced one.
I thought Aaron Ramsdale didn't put a foot wrong.
You didn't look as convinced on the Rice.
I don't want to piss off Turkish. I want to be positive on this show because I think that there's.
You managed to piss him off by saying you don't want to piss him
off.
I
know, but we're chatting about Declan Rice here, and I just don't think this is the week to kind of say what I was going to say because I think he was brilliant today. But what I want to ask you all,
scored from 30 yards yet, Jordan.
No, listen, we'll do not today.
Can't control the ball like Edison.
But what I want to, who by the way on the ball today was brilliant. But what I want to say, what I want to ask you guys is, do you think we are a proper striker in January away from being the favourites for the Premier League? Is that all we're missing now?
Favourite?
I think when you see today, you know, like. And this is my argument about the goalkeeping situation. I've been really honest, like, you know what I mean? I don't really see there's too much difference between Raya and Ramsdale. I'll be really honest, like, you know. But I look at that centre forward role, and it's nothing against Eddie because I think he's done a great job, like filling in and all that, like. But today he's asked to lead the line against one of the very, very best, and he didn't do it. He wasn't. You know, we've got to upgrade in that area.
Hold on. I'm slightly playing devil's advocate because I don't know if I really believe what I'm about to say, but Erling Haaland is a goal-scoring machine. No doubt. He arrives to win the treble, I get it. This season, the goals, I'm not going to say they've lacked. He still scored goals. But actually, he's done nothing in quite a lot of games.
No, I agree.
He's missed some big chances. Now, I would venture a guess that if you ask Pep Guardiola whether he would sacrifice 15 to 20 of Haaland's goals for a striker that combined and played, maybe not this, because he's evolved his team. He's always trying to do different things. But I would think that Pep Guardiola's favourite teams are the teams of 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 with a false nine or whatever, where they're a little bit more fluid. Everyone came into play. The goals were shared or whatever. Haaland today did nothing for City. I'm not about to get clipped up for saying I don't rate the guy or anything like that. He's unbelievable. He's a goal-scoring machine. But there's something to be said for, I don't know how to explain it, like, you do need more than just goals sometimes.
Yeah, but why did you mention?
Can I ask a question?
I don't think you do.
I need to ask this question, like, you know what I mean? We're very, very critical of Arteta, and rightly so at times, and all that, like. But you know, does Pep today? Like, I'm looking at that. Where's Grealish today?
No, Pep had a shocker as well.
Yeah,
you know, you got Haaland's got to have his play. He's got to have his tools around him, and Grealish and him work really, really well together. You haven't got Rodri. You haven't got De Bruyne, and is it because he's so good that when he does these sort of mad things that he just seems to get a pass? Because I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, Grealish is going to come on in a minute. He doesn't bring him on.
Well, he does. Well, look, Pep deserves a pass because, you know, he started getting Stones to move into midfield, and if that didn't work, everyone would have said, you're overthinking it, and actually, it won them the treble and whatever. I just, he deserves a pass. But yeah, I think he got a lot wrong today. But I wanted to hear what you were about to say there, Turkish, about the Haaland stuff, because yeah, go on. What were you going to say?
Well, you brought that up because of Eddie, right? And
no, I more meant. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I just think Jesus can have a poor game in front of goal. Listen, Jesus is not better than Haaland. I'm not saying this. Jesus can have he can be poor with his finishing, whatever. But my word, does that team tick sometimes in the line?
You're missing what we're saying. I think we're not saying Jesus. Because if you bring in a proper centre forward, Jesus can play either side of the flanks.
But I'm talking from that front line. Like, the Centurions had Aguero, who scored goals. Obviously, was a brilliant goal scorer, but he'd pop up wide, he'd drop deep, he'd run past players, he'd make things happen. Firmino led the line for Liverpool. They got to 99 points. They won everything as well. Maybe not all in the same season. They won everything. And he didn't really score that many goals. I don't know what I'm trying to...
I know what you're trying to say. I think the difference is, I think when you've got a striker up top, that maybe you sacrifice the 10, 15 goals for his general play. The difference in the City team you mentioned, and even the City team of last year, and the Liverpool team just mentioned, they had the best back five in the league. So when you've got the best defense in the league, you're not letting in that many goals. So that as long as you've got good attackers, you don't have to have the hottest gunman in front of goal, because as long as he is contributing to the overall attack. We haven't got that. We haven't got the best back five in the league. So we know, especially at home, where we do concede goals normally. So I think when you know that you do concede goals at home at the rate that we do, you have to have a guy up top that give him 2 chances, he's putting 1 away. And I just fear that because we don't have that gunman or the best defense in the league, we're going to suffer. You have to have one or the other. You have to have one or the other, and we've got neither.
I think what I'm saying is, I'm convinced you need 80 plus goals scored from your team to win the league, probably more. I'm not convinced you need a 30 goal a season striker to win the league.
No, I don't think you do, James. But what
I think you need a plan B. I think you need something else. I think you need to be able to mix it up. But I don't think you need.
But hang on, everything. But Eddie doesn't. Eddie's a goal scorer, right? When I watch Eddie today,
sorry, that was harsh. But
when he doesn't score goals, he doesn't really contribute. Right, he doesn't contribute in bringing in players and everything like that. What you're saying is, when Jesus is in that middle role, if he's not scoring goals, he's contributing by making assists, doing this and doing, and that's the problem that you've got. So when you're taking Jesus out of that and you're bringing Eddie in today, I look at it and go, what? And this is not. I don't really like bashing on Eddie. I'm just saying, what has he done that looks at you and thinks, right, he's going to be the man. And today I didn't see anything, and that's the problem. I look at Haaland and he hasn't done anything, but he still worries me every time he got the bloody ball.
Yeah, I get you.
That's reputation, but also I don't think it's true that you could. How many teams have won the Premier League and not had a 20+ Premier League goal scorer?
Well, Salah was 20 or so goals. The year they won the league, he never got to 30, but he was nearer 20 or so.
You need someone that can get. You need someone that can get 20.
Also 20. If it's not a 25, 30 goal striker, it's a 50.
20 minimum.
Your front line need to accumulate 55, basically.
Exactly. And last year, Saka got 15.
Yeah.
Martinelli got 15. I think 16, 16, whatever it is. Odegaard got 15, and Jesus got 15.
He did all right, 11 considering he missed 4 months. I mean, he probably
true. But I think you're right. I think you need around the kind of 60+ from your front line, unless you're going to be stingy at the back and win lots of games 1-0, which is what Leicester did. Do you know what I mean? So I hear what you're saying, but I'm just wondering if, and I'm not one for panicking, but I'm just wondering if we are just literally from January onwards, if we're in a good position. If we were to find a gunman to bring in, does that now put I don't know, who's a good striker in the league right now?
Ivan Toney, who will link.
Put Toney, all right. Put Toney in that 11 today.
Yeah, he does a better job than Eddie for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. He does a better job than Eddie. Yeah, I agree.
And I'm an Eddie fan, but then there's levels here. We're trying to win a title.
Well, here's
That's
a
the thing.
question. Here's a question. Brace yourselves. Who would you rather see lead the line for Arsenal right now?
Here we
Eddie
go.
Nketiah or Kai Havertz?
I knew you were going to ask that as well. I knew you were going to ask that.
Kai Havertz.
I would still just go Eddie. Just.
I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you.
Turkish is pleading the fifth. He's not playing this game. He's not playing this dumb game.
You have to pick one.
It's 1-1.
Well, you want me to pick one?
You know what? Let's say we're playing a Champions League game in 3 days' time. Who's starting up front for you? If it's got to be one.
Bloody hell. It's a tough decision for wrong reasons. It'd probably be Havertz because I've seen enough of Eddie up top and it's not the one, even though I'm gonna see enough of Havertz up top and it's not gonna be the one, but we'll give it the chance that Eddie's got.
The pure and utter optimist in me goes for Havertz because while I think he's been a very disappointing £65 million signing, I think he's done his best work up top for us.
Yeah.
And
both against City, James.
Both times against City. I thought he led the line very well in the Community Shield. I thought he I thought today was a nice cameo, really.
Yeah, it was.
Ran the channels, smart with the ball. Actually, there was one bit where he laid it off to Ødegaard in the box, and I think he probably could have got it back or something. And I thought he was just fine. And even though Eddie works supremely hard, Eddie's got pace, but we don't see it. It's not used. It's not like we don't see that part of his game because of the way he's meant to play. So I'd rather have a slower Kai Havertz who is meant to have pace, but we haven't seen any of it. I'd rather have a Kai Havertz just take nice little touches, bring players into play, and use his 6'3" height for some good. So I'd go for Havertz. I agree, neither are ideal, but I think quite frankly, if Havertz just having a future at Arsenal, the closest it looks to working is up front right now.
And listen, it's international break. He's got a penalty. He put it in the back of the net. He's got an assist now off the bench against Man City. We are now joint top. So there's no more confidence talk come the end of international break. We move on to Chelsea away. What more does he need then to turn up against them potentially away from home?
Yeah, that's a great point.
No, but I'll be disappointed if he starts that game. I really hope Arteta, if he's at least not given up on the Havertz in midfield thing, I hope he's at least learned that he's got to ease it in.
Yeah.
Today, I just thought Rice giving the freedom in the midfield with another 6 behind him just looked so much better. I
don't think Saka probably might not be fit for that game. That'd be touch and go.
Yeah,
and don't forget today, Saliba's pulled out of his French team.
Toe injury, he'll be fine.
Oh yeah,
I love all these. Hopefully, it's all these makeup injuries be fantastic.
He'll be fine. I think I do from Chelsea.
I do agree with Lee that I'm excited. Just I know we've got to move. I'm excited by a midfield of Partey, Rice, and Ødegaard. That three is a midfield that I think can cause some real problems.
Yeah, on paper, that's perfect. Right attributes in the right positions.
Yep.
But we'll see. Listen, people, there is no predictions to make. There's no game week this week. Obviously, it's international break. We will be back next week where we'll preview the Chelsea game away from home. And we'll also discuss maybe some of the fallout from the international break and Arsenal-related players. I've just heard that Saliba's pulled out of the squad. That's good news. Hopefully, Saka does the same, or Southgate allows Saka to...
He has. Arteta said Saka won't go.
Perfect. Good news. Well, we'll be back next week. But before we obviously move on to comments of the day, I still think we need to bring up the table because both Mr. James Bayliss and Lee Judges predicted an Arsenal win.
So I'm on 8 points now. Fantastic.
You're a disgrace.
No, you're not. I don't want you to confuse the audio listeners, Lee. So audio listeners, just listen to my voice and my voice only. I'm still top, 8 points. Jordan second, 8 points. James in third on 7 points. And Lee's in fourth on 6 points. So 2 points separating top from bottom.
I feel good, guys. I feel good about this point. Yeah, I got that smug look on my face. Not because I'm not doing the whole, I backed the team when you didn't. But I said coming into the Tottenham game, I said this on my fan cam, that I didn't feel good going into that game. I don't know why. And all week I've just had this feeling of optimism for this City game. Like, come on, like surely now is our time. I'm so happy we capitalised.
Realistically, we should all be on 8 points.
Apart from me, I should get 11.
No, you definitely deserve 3 points chopped off. We should all be on 8 points.
We'll
talk about that another day.
No,
Can I have a final point? I know Cass in the background is saying we've got to move on, wrap it up. Just for that's the reason why today was an important win for us as well, was because that's 3 home games against the Manchester clubs and Spurs, and we've come out with 7 points. That's not a bad return.
Yeah.
But if you lose, if you don't win today, we've still got to go to the Etihad. We've still got to go to Old Trafford. We've still got to go to Shite Hart Lane as well. So I just think we've been blessed in having 3 big games all at home early on. But you've got to win those games. And okay, the Spurs game we didn't win, but it's not the worst. Can
we just put it on record, right? This has not been an easy start to the season.
It's not.
But in our first 8 games, as you mentioned, United, Spurs, City all at home. Big 6 games, big opposition. Everton away, Palace away as well. The only ones you look at and go, Forest at home, we won. Fulham at home, which we drew. Bournemouth away. I'd say only 3 of those 5 games. Sorry, 3 of those 8 games are ones where I go, yeah, I'm really confident Arsenal winning this. Goodison Park, I'm not sitting there going, I'm really confident. I'm thinking we should win, and I'm confident we'll win. Palace away, you just never know. It's one of those places, especially early in the season. And then the other 3 games at home against United, who finished top 4 last season, spend a load of money on their team again, treble winners. And let's give them credit, a really revitalised Tottenham side that are the only other unbeaten side in the league with a match record with us. So, listen, others have had easier runs and are below us in the table. I take it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. True. Let's move on to comments of the day, unless Jordan wants to make another point. No? We're out of points. Good. Let's move. Everyone got comments of the day?
But I will say that I've got a few shout outs for a few fans of the show that I bumped into. So I'll go first just briefly. Big up Tommy. Well, a big up Tommy I bumped into on the Lizzie line a few days ago. He stopped me and said that he it was really awkward because I said to him, we was having a chat. Elizabeth line, whatever. I said to him, oh yes, who's your favourite on the pod? And you know when you say that, just lie to me, just like at least in front of my face, lie to me. He paused for like 3 or 4 seconds. I'm thinking, oh geez, man, like what are you doing to me? And then he said his favourite was Lee. He said Lee was his favourite actually, and he said that Turkish. That was his response. Turkish.
Speaking of loving this fella, why can I met him on the Lizzie line?
And he said that James is really, really tactically smart and all that sort of stuff. Then he didn't even mention me. Didn't say if he liked me or not.
Not even a line.
Nothing.
Let himself down a little bit at the end there, didn't
he? Big up, Tommy. I want to shout out a couple of guys that watched the pod that I bumped into over the weekend at the UK Black Business Show event. And also finally shout out the guy that I bumped into next door at the Sainsbury's, who I was buying my bread and my tea, just looked at me and said, for Arsenal? I was like, yeah, you know what it is. And likes the show as well. So I want to big up those 3 people. And my
question, you said you wanted to shout them out, but I haven't heard any names.
Oh, well, I only got the first guy, Tommy. The other 2, I don't know their names. Sorry. And my comment was from Broddax, who just he sent a message saying, Akanji, being a great young defender, gives Lee hope he might make it someday. A double shot there. I embarrassed myself last week.
Yeah, you did there. I about it all week and all. I met a couple of guys today they had hospitality in the director's box, and they come up to me and they said to me, look, love the show and everything, like, but you've got to you're not digging out the tactical show as much as you should be, like, you know what I mean? So start reining it in and start, giving him a bit of stick. I've actually got him on video saying it, like, so
Lee's learning what's good for him.
Yeah, so
away from tactics.
Lots to do that with the guys. But anyway,
who's up next?
Well, Lee is a national treasure. Protect him at all costs. There you go.
Shameless, absolutely shameless.
More shameless. They got Michelle to write it. And
That's why he didn't say the name.
yeah, that Wi-Fi is good in the toilet.
Mum and Dad to work, you know what I mean? Like, I was just saying, like, you know, with your dad to work.
What was that? Sorry.
No, nothing.
You did. You met my dad today. Did you have a nice chat?
Yeah, he's lovely. Look what a lovely fella.
Oh,
Lovely
yes,
fella, like, you know.
Well, thank
And,
you.
and your brother's much better than you. I've got to say, like, you know, I actually went all the way from the studio to the ground, and I didn't fall asleep. It was fantastic. Like, you know what I mean?
I've been trying. You know, I've been trying to get him on AFTV, but
He should do. He's got a bit of knowledge as well of it. He was really
listen,
knowledgeable.
he knows his arse as much as I do. He just doesn't for whatever reason. It's
Yeah,
not for him. But,
very passionate about it as well.
Maybe one day. Maybe one
Yeah.
day. I got a comment
Maybe
of the
we'll get
week.
on and replace you.
Do you know what? Next time I can't make it.
Yeah, we get you
Normally because I'm on holiday, so I don't know how with him, so I don't know how this will work.
Yeah.
But go on, we'll chuck him on.
We're chatting.
I just love this because it came in 3 days ago from Mubu. I'm a gooner from Delhi, India. I've been to 2 Arsenal City games, one in 2015, 22nd December. I was there as well. When Ozil had 2 assists and we won 2-0. I think it means 2-1. I think, Toure scored late, but yeah. And then the one in the Community Shield this year. I'm good juju for Arsenal in this matchup, and I'm going to be in the Emirates Stadium this weekend. Arsenal are going to win. Come on, you Gunners.
I actually met
Good
someone.
lads.
Actually, maybe I met him. Let me know in the comments. Did I meet you today, mate? Because someone did come up to me and say, "Well, where did they say they're from?"
Delhi, India.
Yeah. Someone.
Yeah, I
came
think
up
there
to me.
was some guys come up from that said they was over from Delhi today, didn't they? Only for a couple of days or something.
Yeah.
Imagine you're 3 for 3 in live games with Man City. That's
Oh, that's incredible. That is.
and also to pop that comment in saying we
I'm
won the
12
other
and
2.
12.
Honestly, we're going to win again. I love that. Good on you.
My one from Callum Chalmers, and he says Turkish being top of the league is a bit like City winning the league with 115 charges. You know it ain't right, but they're there anyway.
I'm making right.
Bang
Yeah, I
on.
like that one. Bang on.
Bang on.
Bang
The
on.
problem is our court of arbitration is called Sharoy, and he's been useless in trying to help us.
No one's seen
Love you,
him.
Sharoy. Love you to bits.
Apparently, no one's seen Shiroy. He's having a 3-week holiday in Turkey, and then followed by a 1 week in Ireland. That's all I'm hearing. Like, I don't know if that's true.
Hopefully he's enjoying. But on that note, we're going to wrap it up here, people. I haven't asked you to hit the like button at all over the last hour and 8 minutes, but I'm going to ask you to hit that like button right now. Let's get it up to 1,000 likes. Obviously, Fourever Arsenal will be resuming next week. At the beginning of next week, sometime we'll do the next pod. Chelsea away will be the next fixture. So make sure you're there. But make sure you're there by being subscribed. Put the notification bell on. Like I said, hit the like button. And love for the love as always, people. We're out. Peace.